any other professional mappers want to come and roast my map? Your criteria to be a professional mapper in this context is at least one ranked map. X Beatmap Nominator also counts. I vouch Malphs. Does a ranked map on Akatsuki count? What the? I have 2 mapper badges on my profile. Does that count? How can you have 2 mapper badges but not have a ranked map? The fuck? Do ranked maps mean nothing? Collabs. Oh, okay. Alright. Alright, wait. What's it called? Malphs. May I have your Discord, please? Good morning. Chompy has infiltrated this call.
I will keep my yapping low, considering there's a more trained professional.
Let's go. Mouse, hello. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Ed.
My name is Ed. Oh.
Hello, Ed. Hi.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. So wait, what's your background? You were a former Beatmap nominator?
Yeah, I'm a ranked mapper. I ranked 16 maps.
Woo!
I used to go by the name of Kirishima Dash. I don't know if more people know me by that name.
Kirishima
But yeah.
Dash.
I used to be a BN like 3 months ago.
Oh
I got
shit.
kicked.
Wow. Cringe.
Yeah. It happens.
It's all good. You're freed from the mapping janitor closet.
Not gonna lie, I kind of enjoyed it. I just like said some like stuff that was kind of not acceptable,
Uh-oh.
and they I didn't say anything bad. I just like said I wanted to play my probation safe, and like that's something every VN does.
Oh wait, that was you?
Yeah.
Oh
That was me.
shit! Wait, you were the
Right.
guy who was voted like the Beatmap nominator of like the
Yes,
year or
I
something.
won
Oh
MCA,
my
yes, it's me.
god! What
Yo,
the
what's
fuck?
We got the goat here.
Wait, that's crazy.
Best modder of 2023.
Oh yeah. So I did nominated some like kind of questionable maps. I admit that, and I was gonna get probation for that, but then since I said I wanted to play my probation safe, and like you're not allowed to do that apparently, I got kicked.
I guess it was like stated publicly, considering they deemed it as like with ill intentions, perhaps.
Like I had no ill intent. Like I wanted to take the feedback to heart and like try to improve my modding, but like they interpreted like they assumed I was gonna do like something bad with it, like go back to nominating like Brazil 3 or something like that.
Oh shit.
But yeah,
Wait, my
I don't know.
agency
I just got
messaged me.
kicked over misunderstanding, I'd say.
Hey, I'm
And
just
that's the story
saying.
of how I lost my first BN as well. Or one of my
Unlucky.
maps.
Hey Mouse, if
Yeah.
you're still passionate about like mapping related stuff, I'm sure we can get you involved in some cool stuff that doesn't
Hell
involve
yeah,
DNing.
man. I'm down.
Hell yeah.
I'm down, bro.
All right.
So yeah,
So
let's see this map of yours.
yes, I sent the link. For context,
Yes.
let's see. This is the first map out of 3. That the other 2 will be mapped later. The idea is that I will speed map the first 2 songs, get feedback on each of them, and then from that feedback, I will take my time on the 3rd map in hopes of when that finishes, that I will get professional mappers to judge it and see if they deem it as a rankable map. From a strictly mapping perspective, no hit sounds, no extra sets, whatever. Just from like, would that map be considered rankable?
All right, I see. So you want me to stream it, right? Okay.
Yes, if you could share your screen. so we can see
yeah.
you scrubbing around the editor and like, yeah, any of your thoughts is fine. You can pop off, you can like nitpick, you can do literally whatever because all feedback is good feedback.
All right. I'm just gonna go close my door real quick because my brother is a little loud. So
Oh,
I'll be
good.
right back. 1 second.
Imagine my fucking roommates. Ah,
Okay, I'm here.
let's go.
So let's see.
I'm in.
You're in
Is there audio?
PTMC Omega. Oh wait, huh?
Wait, are you?
I have a
Oh, I see. Okay, audio does work.
0%. Okay. PTMC Omega Speed Map X3.
So I created
have,
a
like,
gotcha
2 hours?
channel.
Yeah.
I created a gotcha
You had 2
channel
hours?
on YouTube called PTMC with the idea of PT standing for
Oh.
potential.
Damn. Okay. Okay. Good. Potential ranked mapper. Let's see.
Woo!
I'm just gonna do a first like walk through the map just to get some like general thoughts, and then I'll go more like detailed a little bit later.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, I can already see you have like some good ideas, like visual ideas for patterns. Yeah, sometimes you kind of ignore some rhythms in the background, but I think that's like something you will have a bit more of attention to, like in the future
Mm-hmm.
once you get more experience. But yeah, as you can see, like you have some pretty cool ideas that are going on here. I just think sometimes the execution could be a bit more neat, like tied together.
Right.
In terms of the visuals. Yeah, you have the ZZZ, you have the squares. Pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah, this is during the
So-
era of holy fuck, I need to finish this map and I only have like
Yeah,
20
okay,
minutes
yeah.
left.
You're already low on time here. I see. Something that Nebu was talking before is like your objective with the map, and I wanted to hear with you what kind of map do you want to make in the future?
What
what
kind
is
of
your
map
goal?
do I want to make in the future?
Yes, like what is your main goal on mapping?
My main goal is to... So I have my own opinions on the mapping scene in general. In my opinion, I don't think a mapper should ever map with the intention or mappers who map for players are I would rather give the freedom to the mapper to express the song in their own vision, right? And so like I want to embody that sort of idea of like there's a vision that is communicated through the song. My job is solely to represent that under the idea of more intense parts of a song should be more difficult. Less intense songs should be less difficult. How everything else should be like, you know, up to me. Obviously visuals is something that I care about. Intentionally like using flow and breaking flow at specific points that serve a purpose to the song, things like that, right? In terms of like playability slash like making things easier for the player, I don't really care too much about, because I've always held the opinion that mappers should always map the song in the way that best represents the music, and ideally the most difficult variant of it and allow players to get good enough to eventually full combo those maps.
I see.
So
So
I
you
want to
have, like,
embody
both
that
the-
idea.
You have both the mapper and the player perspective here. Like you have the ideal song representation goal, which is really good, and that's, on my opinion, like what's the most important in mapping, which is trying to represent the song through the patterns and like rhythms, spacing, emphasis, and whatever. Like all of the you use all of these concepts to try to represent the song to the best extent, and that's what you basically described, I'd say.
Mhm.
So yeah, you focus on visuals. That's also a good thing. That I also really like visuals, like visually appealing maps, and I try to do that with both clean visuals and good gameplay, like at the same time. Like I try to make comfy maps that is like more enjoyable for the majority of the player base, other than like focusing on very niche uh, niche specific kinds of players, and that's not an issue. Like I'd say, whatever reason you want to map, like it's always valid. In the end
Mhm.
of the day, you're just having fun, but like you have to uh improve in some sort of like uh some sort of practice, I'd say, over time.
Mhm.
So let's see. Um, I agree with basically everything you said. I think it's pretty good that you have this vision already right at the start, and I'll try to adapt my modding, like my feedback to what you said. So let's see. You first start with like a very interesting 120-degree pattern
Mhm.
that I think could be like, it is really good, a really good idea, but the execution here, it could be a little bit more like neat by like using the two as the center, as the main object, and like there's a concept now that I'm gonna like try to teach you. I don't know if Lon or other people that gave feedback to you introduced already, but it's the visual spacing
Let's go.
concept.
Sorry.
Visual spacing concept is really good for this kind of like visually aesthetic appealing maps. Because if you have everything like in some sort of like equal distance, you can make them like really recognizable in the end of the pattern, and like it just looks really good. Something like this, for example, you see like the 120-degree correlation, and
Mhm.
oh shit, and how like they're all connected right now, like by this approach circle that I'm using as a reference.
Yeah.
Like as you can see, it's overlapping by the tip of the objects, and like they have this constant visual spacing. And if you aim for that on your entire map, your map will just end up looking very like uh good, I'd say, overall. Like
Mhm.
you can complement your pattern by like starting with this central idea and then developing into this line, for example, as you can see. Again, visual spacing. And like this is just like trying to polish what you already had. If you want to compare, like now you have like kind of inconsistencies in your visual spacing. So try to aim like uh for your overall visuals. Try to implement visual spacing on your patterns. Your
Mhm.
patterns will look much better if you want to do that.
For sure. I completely forgot that you could do the approach circle thing.
Yeah. It's something I really guide on my maps sometimes. I
Mhm.
can show you an example later. You see here, for example, you're you're doing the kind of meh kind of overlap that I really dislike, I'd say. Like
Mhm.
overlaps that are not bad, but they really need to fit a concept or a pattern, for example. Right here, it doesn't have that much meaning, and like I would just space them out like a little bit by using again visual space. And another thing is like your overall grouping. Like when you highlight this kind of pattern, I can see like this line right here, and that's really good. Like this is part of the whole grouping, but you can make this like stand out a bit more. Like for example like make this the center of your pattern, and then like apply some sort of symmetry. So if you do something right here, I would expect to have something like also either right here or right here. So this will look like very recognizable in the editor.
I see.
So something like that, for example, would be pretty good. Let's say you had this object before, apply some angle. And you see now you have this that kind of feels like more neat together because you have this visual idea going on.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's not mandatory to have it, but your map will look less filler-ish. I'd say like I don't know if there's a better word to use it, but filler-ish is something that I see like a lot when I was checking maps as a BN. People like did a very well on the chorus, for example, but then the verses they were like kind of uninteresting, like lacked a lot of concepts and ideas, and like there's nothing objectively wrong with that. I just think it would be very interesting to implement that in like across the entire map. Oh yeah, so like visual spacing. Here what you did here is pretty good. Like I don't know if you noticed, but this whole thing like kind of makes a cross screen pattern by having this, and this kind of having the same visual spacing on each grouping. Like this is a group of objects. This is a second group, and then this is another one. So you have the visual spacing between them, and I don't think you even noticed that before I mentioned the concept of visual spacing.
Yeah.
But now that you do, you can like sort of polish this into like something a bit more interesting, like play with angles, have the grouping more to be more obvious to the general player, and then you have something like this, for example, as you can see, like you have this, and this feels pretty good, and looks pretty good as well.
Interesting.
Oh yes, no, nice. Cross scheme, symmetry patterns, pretty good. I liked it. You see, stuff like this, for example, you have the line concept, like the vertical line concept, but like you kind of break it to this object here. So it would be good. Like this is a concept that old mappers also used to do it. That like is going back to the same place like that or like that. I don't know. Like just try to make your patterns and visuals a bit more recognizable, and try to make everything have a thought behind it, like Nebua once told you as well on his feedback. Yeah, pretty good here as well. Like you have the grouping idea, just the visual could be more visually spaced like that. See, now it's more fit together. Oh yeah, again, as I was saying before, you had some rhythm issues as well across the map. Like there is the background 1/16, 1/8, I don't know what's that sound, but it would be cool to represent that from time to time. But that's like not mandatory for you to follow. It's just like an idea to represent like new instrumentals, new elements that got introduced. But then you also miss some like more obvious 1/2 sounds, 1/4 sounds like this one. That is pretty loud. And it just feels kind of awkward when you also follow it on the rest of the map.
That's true.
So one thing I kind of tell my mentees to do is like when they are learning, I tell them to really try to focus on the rhythms first. Because rhythms is basically like 50% of your map, if you think about it. If you have a bad rhythm, you would most likely have to readjust, like reform your entire pattern if your rhythm is bad. So if you have a good rhythm, that's already like 1/2 of the map done. What I tell them to do is try to go on one like 25% velocity and try to see if they didn't miss any obvious like 1/4 and loud sounds. yeah, here for example, it's really loud, and but you prefer to emphasize this one instead. Something like this, for example. You see, this is more representative.
Wait, could you show the difference between that again?
Yeah, you represent this two. Like I think this is 1/6, not even 1/4, and you ignored like this 1/4 rhythm right here. So what I would do here
Oh.
is map the 1/4 and try to represent this through some passive rhythm instead, because it's not as loud as those 1/4s. So something like that, for example. Yeah. Yeah, it feels calmer, so some just covering it passively is more than enough, I'd say. Yeah, this is more accurate, I'd say.
Damn, I didn't realize that was 1/6.
Yeah, that's like when I hear when you hear something weird in the song, just go 25% and try to count like the amount of notes in a certain amount of period, and then like, oh, okay, it fits to 1/6 because there's kind of like 3 sounds here, like starts kind of late. As you can see, it's kind of like this, but you can simplify it to something like that.
Good morning. Good to be here. Even if I'm
But yeah.
like 8 hours late, Omega.
Overall, I just say try to really focus on your rhythms first before trying to make the patterns. Like if you want, you can like map a measure. Like a measure, it would be like here to here, from here to here. Like you make the rhythms for this
Wait,
whole measure.
I can't see your cursor. Could
Oh,
you like?
it's just from this tick to this big white tick as well.
Oh, yeah.
This is a full measure. You can start by like making rhythms for this whole measure, and then you like check on like on 25% if you missed anything, and then you can like focus on the patterning, like trying to segment your mapping into topics would like avoid like kind of this kind of rhythm and inconsistencies.
Mhm.
But yeah, overall, I think you're progressing really well because I remember checking your other mapping streams and your other maps, and they didn't have that many thought behind of the behind of uh behind of the patterns, like the visual ideas. So I'd say you're really improving really fast. Like this is kind of satisfying to see as a as a as a modder, because you were really like really beginnerish when you first started. I remember.
Ah,
Um,
yes.
and this looks like much better than what you've been doing. Yeah, good job. I'd say just focus on rhythms and try to give meaning, like concepts and ideas for every pattern that you make.
So I do have one question. On
Hmm.
the visual spacing end, I do
Yeah.
agree with everything that you said.
Yes, yes, yeah.
I'd like to know at what point are you able to break visual spacing for the sake of better emphasis for the music. So like I think the idea behind like the triple that like has that
Mhm.
the last object that's disconnected was the idea that like the third sound in that triple was like louder, and so I wanted to emphasize that by having like a mini like a small stream jump in that.
Oh
And
yeah,
so
that's completely valid. I just think the like you can do this kind of emphasis in a more uh, visually clean way, because you're using this kind of overlap right here that
mhm.
isn't really consistent with what you've been doing before, and it just feels like kind of random. So what you could do is like make room for this emphasis thing that you want to do, and like by avoiding this kind of overlaps,
I see.
like something like that, for example. Like if you want, you can like kind of emphasize it with movement, but if you really want to like just break it, I would just do the like since you have this object right here, for example, let me try to do something with it. Let's say you have the triple on the upper side, and you want to emphasize the last note of the triple. So you have it like this as a linear pattern, and you want to break for the last note of the thing. So you could do is you still have the main section of the pattern, which is the linear here, and you can like sort of still have the visual spacing and break it using the visual spacing as well. Like your break it would still be part of the pattern, like something like that, for example. Like you are emphasizing this part of the line, let's say, like this symmetry line. Like you're emphasizing this upper part by breaking it. So something like let's see, with like that. Yeah. And since the volume of the song like kind of goes low here, having this low movement here also feels pretty nice to emphasize that. But yeah, this is just one of the ways you could do. You could really like just go really big on the spacing on the 1/4. That's also valid. And also do like this sort of like square-ish. I don't know what the shape is. Something like that.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
to interject, I feel like you can still break the spacing, right? But like relatively
Yeah, you
speaking,
can.
it's still grouped in a way where it's like visually relative, right?
Yes. You would avoid maximum, like try to make something that looks messy because you're going for this kind of like visually appealing style. But it's not like illegal. Like you can break your visual spacing, your overlap and stuff like that. They just like I would try to give meaning to overlaps, to like this breaks, in a way that it doesn't feel accidental. In a way,
Essentially, like make intentions more clear and clean.
Yes.
Essentially, right?
try to make your intentions a bit more clear.
Interesting.
For example, this one, this overlap right here. You had this group of objects right here and this 8 as the center. Well, since it's 8 objects, you could just make it like this and do like a hexagon. Something like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a more clear intention of why you wanted to represent this rather than this. You
Right.
see, this is less recognizable. But yeah.
Also, just like knowing angles that work as well is kind of a
Yeah.
cheat code. Like your 15, 30, 45, 60 kind of degrees, 72, 120. I don't know.
True. You can also use like for patterns like this, you can use the compose, like compose and then create circles from polygon, and then like you type the amount of circles that you want and you do this, like something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like a perfect 6 object polygon, and then like
Like
you have
Control
this.
Shift R to rotate it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you see now you have like a perfect, more or less, yeah,
Mhm.
like you had before. Yep. But yeah, I'd say like you just keep going, as I said before. I'd say stuff like this is really nice. I'd say it's like a middle of the playfield pattern, which is really nice. Like this descending spacing, I really want to praise it for that.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice. Yeah, like I wanted to also show you like one example of what visual spacing like to the maximum would look like. Like not trying to self promote, but like it's something that I also like identify as
No, pop
like
off,
the
man.
visual spacing. Yeah, okay. Just bear with me, okay? Just like as you can see, like this map really focused on visual spacing and like visual ideas, groupings. Like, everything kind of like interlocks and connects together very tightly, and like it just is nice to look at, you know.
Yeah.
And not only that, I try to make like it plays good, like it play good. One thing I do while I'm mapping is like once I finish a pattern, I play it in the editor to see where like intuitively my cursor would want to go
Mm-hmm.
for the gameplay elements, you see. But yeah, just that idea of visual spacing, try to make your concepts a bit more clear and focus on rhythm. Rhythm is really important.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
Malphs. With
That's my 50 cents, man.
knowing all of this, how would you, if you were to rate this out of 10, with 10 being Handsome's impulse and 1 being untimed garbage
Impulse,
that
wow.
that is disgusting and hideous, what would you rate it?
Okay. Listen, this is not hot garbage. Like, this is not bad, because I really see the visual ideas going on. Like, this is really good. I just think you really need to put a bit more effort into the things I mentioned. So for that, I'd say like a 3.5, because you have some really good ideas, like visual ideas, and I have to give you that credit. It's just that the rhythm sometimes feels kind of lackluster, and it's like a really important part of the map.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that would be my grade.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Chompy, what about you?
I agree with what Mouse said. I don't have much
Yeah.
to add. I think Mouse covered what I wanted to say.
Oh,
Similar
I
rating
meant.
too.
Oh, you also think 3.5?
Yeah,
Good.
about 3.5.
All right.
Originally, I was harsher. I was like, give it a 2.5. But you know, 3.5 I think is a decent place to put it.
But yeah,
It's pretty good.
I hope I wasn't I wasn't yapping too much because I'm kind of nervous.
No, it's good. It's
But
good.
that's okay.
Nah, you
It's
got
alright.
everything. I don't know. I couldn't add
Oh.
anything.
XBN knows how to give feedback.
Oh, that's
Wow.
crazy, man. Oh my god.
Great. Okay.
Okay,
So
I
yeah,
appreciate it,
really
man.
I really look forward to your next maps.
Thank
Please
you.
do not give up. You have some you show really good promise, I'd say.
I appreciate it,
Just
man.
keep going.
I feel like
Just
being
keep
a player for so long, since you've already like played so many different maps, you also have just like so much potential to just like
I know, right?
do more with that. You know, like the intuition is there, right?
PTMC
Yeah,
now
man,
has a
I'd
different
say-
meaning.
I'd say to be a good mapper, you have to actually play the game. Like you know what plays good and what doesn't play good. So I really have that sorted out, like the gameplay aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just keep going, man. That's all
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna
guys.
say.
All right. I appreciate you guys for
Alright.
taking the time to look at my map, apply this feedback. I will take it and I will apply it to my next map, which will be Battle Theme 13. So hopefully I don't let you guys down. And yeah, enjoy life, guys. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
If you need help with the timing because it's not a ranked song, I can help you like with the MP3 and stuff.
I'll
need
let you
the
know. I'll
timing.
let you know if I have some issues with that.
Okay, alright.
All right. Enjoy life,
Alright, man.
guys. Peace.
Thank you,
peace.
thank you.
Bye bye.
You too, man. Bye.
Chat 3.5 out of 10. Not terrible. That's okay. We take those.